Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the absolutely most fascinating shifts in modern business. We're talking about how rapid technological evolution went from being just a simple, everyday operational tool to a literal make-or-break core input for strategy. So if you've ever wondered why some companies manage to thrive in total chaos while others just completely collapse, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the art of environmental scanning, move into the PESTLE analysis framework, then we'll be zooming in on technological factors, look at technology as core strategy, and finally, wrap up with some real-world tech strategy. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the art of environmental scanning. Imagine an organization as a wild animal just trying to survive out in nature. It has to act with this constant underlying sense of urgency, right? It always has to be scanning its external environment. On one side, you're looking for predators. These are your fatal threats, like a disruptive new competitor or a sudden economic downturn. But on the other side, you're actively sniffing out food, those vital opportunities, new markets, and untapped customer bases. If you stop looking around, even for a second, well, you simply don't survive. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The external environment is made up of these highly complex, totally dynamic variables that are almost completely outside the short-run control of top management. You can't control a global pandemic, you can't control overnight shifts in consumer behavior, and you definitely cannot control when some massive technological breakthrough is going to happen. Because the environment is just that unpredictable, strategists actually have to formalize their approach to monitoring it. Relying on your gut feeling or intuition alone, that is a straight-up recipe for disaster. That brings us to Section 2, the PESTLE analysis framework. So, how do we bring some actual structure to this wild survival process? Well, strategists use a highly effective tool called PESTLE analysis. Essentially, it acts as an organization's eyes and ears. It allows management teams to take all these massive, chaotic external forces and neatly sort them into 6 distinct buckets: political, economic, sociocultural, technological, legal, and environmental. By breaking the world down into these specific categories, a company can actually foresee how macro trends might impact their future decision-making. It takes all that guesswork out of looking at the horizon. Now, when you map all these forces out together, the technological bucket really demands your utmost strategic attention. It doesn't operate in a vacuum. Technology acts as this massive accelerant, right? A single new technical solution can completely disrupt the economy, change deep-rooted social behaviors, and even force entirely new legal regulations into existence. It's the ultimate catalyst that forces all those other categories to shift. Let's pivot slightly and jump into Section 3, zooming in on those technological factors. The sheer scope of what technology means to a strategist right now is staggering. Management teams have to constantly weigh the practical and financial implications of some incredibly fast-moving factors. We aren't just talking about, upgrading the office software. We're talking about sweeping automation that totally redefines manufacturing. We're talking about the massive rollout of 5G and the Internet of Things. And crucially, we're talking about cybersecurity. Because computer hacking isn't just an IT nuisance anymore. It is a full-blown, board-level existential threat to the entire business. All these factors combine to create what we call the dual nature of disruption. The speed and scale of technological change we're seeing right now is entirely unprecedented. It acts as a dual force. On one front, it aggressively destroys traditional industries. Just think about how Uber completely upended the traditional taxi and transportation models. Boom, gone. But on the exact same front, it simultaneously births entirely new ecosystems. Think about how the advent of e-commerce revolutionized retail trade and created these massive global logistics networks. It is literally a force of creative destruction. Which perfectly sets up Section 4, Technology as Core Strategy. Because of this rapid disruption, we're living through a fundamental paradigm shift in corporate planning. The old way treated technology as a mere add-on. You'd build your whole business strategy, and then, almost as an afterthought, you'd ask IT to buy the computers to make it happen. And you'd maybe refresh that strategy every 3 to 5 years. Well, that era is dead. The new way recognizes technology as a core input. It's just as vital as your customers or your markets. And because tech moves so incredibly fast, your strategy can't be a static document anymore. It has to be a continuously dynamic process. When you successfully weave this continuous IT strategy right into the DNA of your business model, you unlock some serious competitive advantages. You instantly improve responsiveness, like using cloud computing to scale your resources up or down overnight based on demand. You vastly increase collaboration, breaking down silos internally and connecting with external partners. And perhaps the biggest one? You enhance customer insight. By applying deep data analytics, you aren't just guessing what your customers want. You know it for sure, which lets you build incredible, lasting loyalty. So let's see how this actually plays out in Section 5, Real-World Tech Strategy. Theory is great and all, but what does this look like when the pressure is truly on? The ultimate question here is, how does proactive technological scanning build resilience against massive, unpredictable environmental shocks? When the global pandemic hit in early 2020, it was the ultimate external threat. So how did a giant, physically heavy corporation like Walmart use its tech strategy to not just scrape by, but actively capture market share? Well, while a lot of other companies just panicked or froze up entirely, Walmart relied heavily on its environmental scanning. They saw the threat early. They didn't just passively roll out CDC health protocols. They proactively paired those physical safety measures with a massive reinforcement of their digital supply chain and e-commerce infrastructure. They knew the demand for online grocery and delivery was about to skyrocket, and they made absolutely sure their technology was the core input driving their entire response. And if you want definitive proof that their tech as core strategy approach worked, just look at this staggering number, 460%. By April 2020, Walmart saw a 460% growth in average daily downloads of their Walmart grocery app compared to just a few months prior. You absolutely cannot handle a 460% spike in traffic and logistics if your technology is just an add-on. It has to be built right into the foundation from day one. The financial ripple effect of having that robust technological foundation is honestly incredible. By May 2021, because they were able to pivot and seamlessly handle that massive shift in consumer behavior, Walmart US saw comparable sales jump 6%. But even more impressively, their operating income increased by nearly 27%. That is the absolute power of turning environmental scanning and technological readiness into a proactive, offensive strategy. So as we wrap up this explainer, the crucial takeaway I want to leave you with is to look inward. Ask yourself, is your organization acting like that wild animal, proactively scanning the horizon for the next big technological predator or opportunity? Or are you just waiting around, reacting to the storms once they've already hit? In today's landscape, if technology isn't your core strategy, are you already obsolete? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me today, and keep scanning that horizon.